Yeah. Well,
Listen to my podcast about sports, about sports, about sports.
rough start after a rough game already. Howdy, Ags from the tailgate, home of Aggie Football. Today's episode is brought to you by Matthews Electric, full service electrical contractor in the Brazos Valley. No job too big, no job too small. Call Blaine at 972-220-6403. Light up your home, light up your life. There it is. Folks, don't forget to email us at agstailgate@gmail.com or get on the YouTube, leave us some commentary. Don't forget to subscribe. All right, Corey.
Mm-hmm.
Look, I want to start this show by telling Aggie fans to calm down.
Oh, I thought you were going to say the season's over. We're done.
Calm
Everything's
down.
doom and gloom.
Yeah. No,
We have
no,
no chance.
no. I'm the opposite.
Hopefully we can beat McNeese. Is that what you're saying?
I mean, I think we're going to beat McNeese.
You think?
I think so. I've been reading a lot of stuff today, this morning, and yeah, you think that, the program's over, right? Like, we just lost a game to the number 7 team in the country, and uh, there was some struggles in game number 1 of the Colin Klein offense, right?
Yeah.
But it's not over. It's not over. It's one game. And it wasn't the result we were looking for. And I mean, honestly, there was a lot of things that went wrong that didn't look good.
Well, the game itself is almost what we expected. We expected a low-scoring game, defensive struggle. We didn't expect to be able to throw the ball that well, but I didn't know it was going to be that bad.
Yeah, I mean, so the final 23-13.
Yeah.
They kicked the field goal there at the end to put the game away.
Yep.
For the most part, this game was tight, right?
Ugly.
But we talked about it. We talked about it before the game, and we said, look, I fully expect this to go under.
Yep.
I said, this is going to be a team offensively that's going to try to run the football.
Which team are you talking about?
The Aggies.
Yeah.
And I was hoping, the one thing I didn't see is the play action off the run, right? Down the field, stretching the field. I didn't see that. That's part of what I expected to see that I didn't see.
You can't do play action off the run if you're going with no backs. Who you play action to?
Yeah, when you go empty backfield on 2nd and 5, it's hard to play action.
You can't.
But and then defensively, we talked about it, right? I said it. Look, schematically, what he does is going to cause some issues in the run game at times, and they gave up big plays because of missed fits, right?
Yeah.
And so we talked about that. Now, it was big plays that killed them defensively, and that's what we expected. In the run game, on the edges, things outside, they struggled a little bit. I thought for the most part, the DBs played pretty well in coverage. I thought Des Ricks got exposed a little bit out there when he was out there. Javon Thomas, I thought, was really good. Lee almost got that pick. He should have had that one, right?
This Notre Dame receiving core, we should be able to shut them down.
Yeah.
We should be able to do to them what they did to us with the receivers. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Because they're not a great receiving core.
Right.
I mean, I didn't know hardly any of their players coming in the game.
Yeah, and look, I guess let's organize this a little bit, and let's start off and let's talk about that matchup, right? The A&M offense against this Notre Dame defense, and it's hard because it's week 1, and so we don't really know how good the Notre Dame defense is, but I feel like that secondary is pretty damn solid.
Well, we don't know how good the Aggie offense is either. It's like,
right.
Is the Aggie offense that bad? Was the Notre Dame defense that good? Was the play calling that bad? I mean, we'll find out here in a couple more weeks, but
yeah,
right now the verdict that I'm seeing is the verdict's not out, but what I'm seeing, the Aggie offense is not that good. Notre Dame defense is good. Our receivers can't get separation. I mean, I'm just telling you what I saw.
Look, here's one thing. I thought the offensive line played pretty good.
Better than, yeah. If we get that play, I think we'll be pretty good.
And I don't know if we don't lose two centers in that game and have to put TJ Shanahan out there, I don't know if
Two
it's not.
centers.
Yeah,
That's
that's
rough.
rough. Two centers in one game. That's pretty rough.
That's rough.
But Shanahan has to get on the field, and he is a downgrade from the guys that are ahead of him. And so, that's one of the things that cost us a little bit last night also. But I thought overall the offensive line played pretty well. You saw where at times they got some real good movement, especially on some short yardage stuff, and
Yeah.
they were able to get in there in spite of obviously the highly touted defensive tackles that play for Notre Dame. We were able to get a couple of things on the edges as well.
We got some nice pockets there for Connor.
Really nice pockets for Connor that he didn't take advantage of at all.
No, he still rushed it.
Yeah.
For some reason.
So I thought offensive line was a positive note yesterday. I called it before. I said it before the game. I thought Le'Veon Moss would be our player of the game, and I think offensive player of the game. I think he probably is, right? Ja'Day Walker had a nice game, but
who else?
That's pretty much about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
I guess Connor.
It definitely was not Connor.
This might be the worst game I've seen Connor play.
Easily. I think easily.
I hope it's his worst that he ever has.
So offensive line wise, man, I thought pretty good. The backs I thought were good. I wanted to see a little bit more Daniels, and he didn't get a ton of opportunity, but when he had the ball, I thought he did well.
Yeah.
They had some opportunities to do some things with the backside of the backfield and weren't able to take advantage of it on a couple of occasions. He missed Moss on one, and I think there was a drop on another. That they had.
And Noah Thomas was almost relevant in the game.
I don't even know why he was on the field.
Yeah.
I don't even know he was on the field because they didn't even threaten to throw his way.
No.
And maybe they saw the matchup with, their number one corner or whatever and got afraid of that. But I'll tell you, you've got a guy that's 6'6". I mean, well, he did throw it to him on the interception.
Yeah, threw it right over him.
Right over the top of him.
Right.
How do you miss long on a 6'6" dude?
Go back and watch it. I'll show you. High. Throw it off your back foot, falling away.
And that's exactly it. It felt like he had a great pocket there, and then he's hopping, fading away, throwing that football to a wide open dude.
Yeah.
So offensively, obviously, were the issues, and in the first couple of drives, right, not being able to finish drives, field goals kill you.
Yeah.
We talked about the fact that one of the things that we expected in Colin Klein's offense is more touchdowns instead of field goals. And that didn't show yesterday against a really good defense, mind you. Hopefully, you think
we're going to play really good defenses
in the SEC.
Yeah, we're going to play a lot of good defenses.
So they've got some adjustments.
They're going to watch this tape and be like, 7 guys in the box, man. Let's not man up on.
That's it, man. Up.
Their receivers can beat our guys.
Are they gonna, they're gonna dink and dunk all day and whatever, right?
Yeah.
And you're absolutely right. That's what they showed today or yesterday. So yeah, the weird part was that the weak link yesterday was Connor Bigman.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, he didn't look like himself. He did not. I mean, he had
everything was
runs here, his passes, nothing looked crisp. Man, I heard people where I was sitting watching the game. Oh, pull Connor. Let's get somebody else in the game. Do you do that to a guy on his first game?
No, I don't think so.
Maybe you pull him for a series and let him sit and watch and calm down. They said he got sick. I never saw him got sick.
Yeah, he got sick on the sideline. Yeah, and the whole thing is that it wasn't that he was making terrible reads, right? I mean, there might have been a couple of those.
Yeah.
There were, but and a couple of times when he didn't let it go. But sometimes it was good reads, just bad throws.
Well, he and the receivers looked like they were on the same page.
Not on the same page at all, right?
Yeah.
And he was just a little bit behind him, and people say, well, he should have caught. Well, maybe, but that makes a big difference,
Yeah.
And especially behind him because it's hard you're already shifting your weight. So it's a difficult situation, man. And he just wasn't putting the ball on the money like we know that he can't.
We've seen him do it.
Yeah.
He just felt rushed for some reason. I don't know. It's because of past experience with offensive line, but he felt rushed to get rid of the ball quicker than he had to, and he didn't have to on some of those.
And I thought that offensively, and look, Oko talked about it in his press conference afterwards, right? We didn't do a good job of getting him comfortable. And an offensive coordinator has to do that. That's part of what you need to do is get your quarterback comfortable. If he's not there when he shows up, you got to get him there, right? And so, and if he can't get comfortable, then you need to get somebody else in there.
Well, we didn't do either one of those.
We didn't do any of those things. He never felt. You're right. Even in good pockets, he just never felt comfortable, and he didn't deliver the ball comfortably, and he was off.
I mean,
Worst game of his college career.
what I saw the Swede go out for a couple passes. One of them was a pick. That guy had no separation at all. Saw Allen, is that his name? Cyrus Allen or something?
I thought he had a good game.
Couple little moves. He's a slot receiver.
Yeah.
Walker, most of his catches were little dink and dunk things. Screens.
Yeah. Well, everything they threw was dink and dunk.
That's what I'm saying. The only deep passes we took was an interception to Noah.
And then a couple of them where the receiver wasn't even looking down the sideline.
It wasn't. I mean, the offense looked like our old offense. It's not good.
And here's another thing. We never changed tempo, right? We were pretty slow tempo the whole game. We never changed tempo. And I understand that I think their game plan was to shorten this game, right? They wanted to lean on the defense. They knew that this is going to be a low scoring game. They wanted to be in a tight game where they could have an opportunity to win. And to do that, they shortened the game by slowing things down. But I think at some point, I think you have to switch it up a little bit. Maybe, give them.
You got to say, hey, this isn't working.
Yeah,
and that's something Jimbo never could do.
Yeah, well,
I was hoping Elko and them could do it, but it's not looking that way right now.
And it's only game one. It's only game one. I think offensively, that's going to be the biggest thing. How does Connor bounce back? Right? And I think receiver wise, honestly, I mean, they, they didn't create a ton of separation. I mean, but he missed some open guys, some opportunity.
Right. There were some guys open that he missed. We watched them, and a lot of guys he didn't even see that were coming over. He wasn't even going through his progressions. He would lock onto a receiver. I throw him the ball no matter what, like the one to Moss outside that just went off his fingertips.
Oh yeah,
it seemed like that happened a couple times.
Yeah, and then schematically, I did think that they didn't use a lot of inside run game as much as I would have liked to see. I thought they had some good runs inside,
right?
Yeah. And I thought they were just forcing it. They were trying to stretch it to the outside more than the inside. And they had one blocking scheme on the outside zone where they were bucketing the backside offensive lineman, and that looked horrible. They got to fix that. That didn't work.
So what'd you see out of the tight ends? I thought Watson, he had one catch.
Nothing.
I didn't either.
Nothing. I thought that they didn't use them much, especially because, one thing that did disappoint me, like I said earlier, is the play action game, right? They didn't really use the play action game, really sell the run to try to, get a tight end on mismatch somewhere or, get Noah deep over the top.
Right.
And so to me,
that was some chances, don't you? We're not talking to chances where you overthrow the receiver and throw a pick. I'm talking.
Yeah, one-on-one. And we were talking about it earlier. The pick two when he was throwing to Theo, right? And he's throwing to 17, covered. The guy comes underneath it. I mean, 17 doesn't have a shot at that.
Doesn't even know where the ball is.
No. But right behind him, he had Noah Thomas one-on-one with a corner going on the post, right?
Yeah.
And it's like, well, why don't you take that shot? Take that shot. Give your 6'6" guy an opportunity to go catch something up top against the 6-foot corner, right?
So we watched the game yesterday. We had a little bit of drinks while we were doing it.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if you remember, what other receivers did you see in the game? I saw Allen. I saw Thomas.
Yeah.
I saw Walker.
Yeah.
I saw Moose for maybe
a little bit.
A handful of plays.
Yeah.
Who else got on the field?
I think I saw Michael Tees out there 1 or 2 plays, and I think I saw Terry Bussey out there a few times.
Okay.
But so let's talk about a couple of things here. I don't know why Moose is on this team. I don't know why Moose is
I don't know why he's been on the team for the last 3 years. It seems like it's the same conversation we have every year. Moose has all the talent in the world, great hands, run the routes, he can dominate a game. He's not playing.
He's not on the field.
Not even on the field.
Yeah, he's not even on the field. I mean, it's not like, okay, well, they didn't throw him the ball like Thomas, right? Thomas was on the field the whole day. They just didn't throw him the ball.
Did you see what Moose was wearing?
Was wearing sleeves.
He had the sleeves.
Well, good for him. I like him with sleeves.
Yeah.
Um, but nowhere. He's nowhere on the field, man. And I don't get it. I don't get it. And I
don't
understand.
either.
I understand whatever these other guys, maybe they've had whatever. Look, this guy's shown it in game every time he's on the field. They like throw him the football, he's gonna catch it.
I don't
Period.
get it. I don't get it.
Like those one-on-one routes on the sideline, I love it, man. Yeah, you did Walker and Thomas are tall. Neither one of them catches the ball like Moose.
Yeah.
He'll go up and get it one-handed. Like he sometimes I don't even know if he needs a hand. He might catch it with his mouth.
If we would have had Reuben Owens, would that made a difference in this game?
No.
Okay.
No.
Anaya Smith made a difference?
Yes.
Okay.
Anias is a monster. And to that end, here's another thing. Here's another thing.
Yeah.
Why aren't we using Daniels more? I thought he looked good when he was on the field and had some nice plays. Not that I'm trying to take the ball out of Moss's hands, but EJ Smith.
He had as many carries as Daniels almost, didn't
Yeah.
he? And they were. I mean, EJ Smith didn't look bad.
No.
It just
Let me. I'm gonna. This is. They have to get Terry Bussey involved, son, because that dude looks
well, they need playmakers
like a freak.
And these guys, some of them, I guess they're quick and fast, but they're not football quick and fast. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Get them the ball, make something exciting happen. That running back for Notre Dame, he was hard to bring down. Love,
Yeah.
he had some big runs.
Yeah.
I don't know if our tackling was just that bad, but damn, that guy seemed like he was hell to bring down.
I just want to let's shift over to the defense, but let me just say this last thing on Terry Bussey. He's a freshman, just showed up from his high school, and that dude is a freak show.
Yeah,
that dude is a freak show. Like the thing, you saw him even on the little punts. The punt returns. I mean, he's surrounded and just makes like little, people miss. I mean, that dude,
he's shifty.
goodness
He's a
gracious,
shifter.
man, they got to get him the football on offense. They got to get him. They got to hand the ball to him, like throw it out in a little screen out there, or just tell the dude to go run and go throw it up to him. Because yeah, like you don't need to design these 37 plays for Terry Bussey. You need like 3 of them and just hand him the ball every time. Like get him the ball. He's on the field. I want to see that dude like embarrass people. That's what I want to see.
So, just sticking with the offense for a second.
Yeah.
Moving forward,
Mm-hmm.
what are you expecting to change, if anything? What do you see from this first game that needs to change?
I think that they're going to open it up some. Like I said, I thought that they came into this game with that game plan. I think they were playing tight on purpose. I also think that they were a little too scared of the interior of the defensive line of Notre Dame,
Which I don't see why.
Yeah, which they shouldn't have been. And so they were a little too scared, and that game plan sort of showed that too.
Mm-hmm.
And so I do expect this thing to open up. I expect Connor to have a much better game 2, game 3.
Okay.
The rest of the season. It'd be hard not to, right? I mean, that game was horrible. But I think those are the keys, and I want to see obviously the offensive line continue to progress. I thought they played pretty good, and the running game get better. But more than anything, I think we need to see this offense open up.
Do you expect to see more up tempo, or do you expect to see huddles and?
Yeah, I don't expect this team to ever be the scorch and go offense, right?
Not like an Oregon or something like that.
No.
Okay.
I don't ever expect that, but I think they do have to have that change of pace and come out at times and really push the pace a little bit more. You got to give defenses some fits at times and catch them in personnel situations, and then keep them there because you can just move the ball, right?
Question for you: you're the old coach. So on first down, I run the ball for 5 yards.
Yeah.
Second down, I come out with empty backfield. Can you explain that to me? How does that work?
Yeah,
what's the reasoning behind that?
Yeah, I think they're kind of trying to see if they're going to get a better matchup. I'm thinking, with these guys thinking that, hey, yeah, in the 2nd and 5, maybe these guys are going to run again. But like this is prime opportunity. We've always talked about it. Second down and short to medium is the perfect play action pass down, right?
How many times did we play action pass?
I don't think I saw it.
Yeah.
And if it was, it's like a little weak,
Yeah, we
you
didn't
know.
fool anybody.
No. And that's one of the things when you run that offense with a back at his side, you never get the same level of faith, right? But we still need to do better.
There's something Connor's calling the snaps. He had Notre Dame jump 2, 3, 4
Yeah,
times.
early in the
Is it
game. Yeah,
something he's doing with the clap? Is it
yeah, he's doing. I mean, and
that's a
and we
loud
were at home,
environment, right?
and we were at home,
Right.
right? So when he was on the field, it was quiet out there,
Mm-hmm.
and so he was able to control it with the clap. Uh,
Because he seemed
he
like
did
he
a
was
great
trying to
job
stick
there.
to that towards the
Yeah,
end of the game, which
but
is that their
at that point they'd already adjusted, right?
right. And then that's another thing. They have a good defensive line at Notre Dame, great one. But we would have kept banging those guys towards the end of the game. You know what
Yeah,
I'm saying? It's like I feel like our size. I mean, our guys were averaging 325 pounds. They're
if you'd
averaging
have been coming downhill at him all day, there's a chance that by fourth quarter you.
yeah. And we got 3 running
We
backs that
saw
are
it with
easy.
Georgia and what they did and wore
Oh,
down
they
Clemson.
yeah,
Right?
just killed them.
Just wore them down. Um, Yeah, so I don't know. Well, I think this offense needs to open it up a little bit. They need to get obviously like Connor needs to get comfortable. That's number one. That is number one. And if he can't get comfortable, then you need to get somebody else in there
He'll get comfortable week 2.
because well, against McNeese State,
Yeah, he'll
everybody
get
gets
comfortable.
comfortable against
Yeah,
McNeese State.
yeah.
But and I love Connor. I think he's gonna have a great year. But the fact of the matter is, this is a team, and if he can't, if for some reason this is in his head now,
Yeah.
you got to make a change, right? I mean, um,
I don't see that happening.
I don't see it happening. I expect the guy to have an excellent game week 2. He's just, I thought he might have put a little too much pressure on himself on Saturday,
Yeah.
and just
I
like
mean,
I
this
said,
could be the best defense we see all year. It
yeah,
could be.
hey, yeah. I don't even think that that's much of a stretch.
Because I mean, Missouri's got a good team. I don't know if they have that defense.
No,
LSU, good team. I don't know if that defense.
no,
Texas, I don't know. Saw them play a nobody. Colorado State, they shut them
yeah,
out.
we'll have to wait till this coming against Michigan, right?
Who's the other teams that we're playing that are supposed to be?
I mean, is Auburn's defense that good?
Yeah, I don't know.
We just watched South Carolina playing. They
Yeah,
suck.
South Carolina barely got away with a win.
Mississippi State,
Florida,
right? So yeah, they're probably the best defense we face all year. And I'm going to tell you this, I don't think this is even a question. That's the best secondary we'll face all year. I think no questions asked.
so do you change your game plan week to week, or do you stay with the run and
No, I do.
things?
Yeah, you do obviously adjust the game plan based off the opponent, but I think just more than anything else, you just got to open up a little bit more,
All right.
right? So, and I expect them to do it. I expect this team to score a lot of points against McNeese in this coming Saturday.
I'll ask you for the grades at
But
the end of this day because I want to know what you thought Fine did, Elko, and everybody their grades because right now my grades aren't very high.
No,
But go ahead.
So let's move over to this defense because I think on the other side of the ball, right? I mean, they, for the most part, played pretty darn well. Defensively, they had a lot of good plays. The problem is, once again, the big play hurt them when they were out of position, too cute, all the stuff that Elko loves to do. We've talked about it, right? Super complex, and then the linebackers are nowhere to be found because they're not in the right gap. The safeties aren't in the right gap. All of a sudden, you got a truck size hole that they're running through on 2nd and 12 or 13 or whatever it is, and
The defense got bailed out a few times by holding calls or I don't know what to call it. I think there was an offensive pass interference once and they pushed them back. I mean, just random stuff that
I don't. I look. I think Albert Regis is a guy that's got to be in that rotation, but why is he on the field all the time? I didn't see him do anything.
I don't remember Hicks being out there a lot. Was he out there?
Yeah.
I know Turner and Stewart and what's his name?
Sporting
were all out there, but
yeah, I thought. Look, talk about a debut. Nick Scorton had a good game.
yeah, he was all
Nick Scorton was all over. Boy, you see that motor?
Yeah, he didn't stop.
You see that motor? I'm so excited for that dude.
I mean, he's
really
nothing physically. I mean, he's not a small guy by any means, but he's not super fast.
Right.
He's not super long. He just aggressive, just keeps going.
Yeah, no, I loved watching him play yesterday. I think that group's going to be fine. I think Shamar was everywhere,
Yeah,
right?
didn't make a lot of
Turner,
plays, but he was everywhere.
yeah, he was right in the middle of stuff a lot, a lot. You know,
Well, Notre Dame was getting rid of the ball quick. They knew that we were going to. Our D line was good.
yeah, and
So
they game plan for that.
yeah,
And
we got the ball.
Stewart got in a little bit into some plays a couple of times, but he was less visible.
Leonard's mobility hurt us quite a bit.
And that's what we talked about, right? He broke contain.
Yeah.
We ended up in not containing. I thought that was one of our biggest issues is the edges. The edges. They were able to get on the edge on us on several occasions in the running game, and get outside and make plays, even with the little quick screens a couple of times,
Yeah.
right? That's probably my big. Des Ricks got exposed a little bit. They started going after him every play, like
Yeah.
back to back. And Davon Thomas, I thought had a good game at corner. I thought Hill had a good game at corner. I think he gave.
God, what if we don't lose Brooks
Not
in like the
Hill.
fifth play of the game?
Lee. Well, I keep saying Hill.
What about
Lee.
Brooks? We don't lose him in the fifth play of the game.
Yeah. That was huge.
Yeah.
That was huge. Look, Anderson, I thought had a pretty good game. Torian York. Look,
He had 9 tackles.
his physical limitations are clear, right?
Yeah.
He is not sideline to sideline, cover your tight end or back out of the backfield guy. He doesn't have that kind of athleticism.
He has to plug the holes.
He needs to be inside. And then he missed a few tackles.
Yeah, he's got to plug
that
the
were
hole. We missed way too many tackles.
Way too many.
Our defensive backs on the run, they were taking bad angles.
Horrible angles by Ratcliffe,
Ricks.
Yeah.
Ricks would come inside too much, leaving the outside open. He's got to contain that, right?
Yeah, he's got to be the outside contain on that, and he's given that up. I mean, so there's some things there, but overall,
coaching that can be fixed. Coaching can do that with you. It's not physically. They're like York. Physically, he can't run silent.
No,
but he can plug a hole and should be able to see it coming and not be out of position to give up two big runs.
Yeah. So look, I guess, and I thought the defensive line didn't have as big an impact as I wanted them to. They had good games. Like I said, I thought Shamar, Turner, and Sporton had really good games. I didn't see any of Malik Silla out there. It's in the pass rush game. I think Riley Kennedy maybe a couple times get in there and rush the passer. But defensive line wise, and yeah, they were getting the ball out quick, but in reality, I didn't see that same impact in the run game. Obviously, they did some pretty decent job at times inside, but I expected more.
I did too.
Right?
I mean, Leonard had a pocket every now and then, but that's when we bring 3 or 4 guys. I mean, they drop back into coverage for some reason. They had Scorton or somebody drop back into coverage a couple times. I'm like,
well, yeah, and so this is one that I don't understand, and it's third down. It's freaking third down and long.
Yeah,
and he brings pressure off the offense's right side with I think it was a linebacker coming here, and he takes Sporton, right, and he drops him right there as basically the spy on the left-hand side,
right? Yeah.
He gets rid of the ball, easy peasy, no problem. We block this guy. Don't worry about the other guy. He just stands there. He does nothing.
Yeah.
Right? He does nothing. He's covering grass right there.
Yeah.
And completes it. Nice. I don't, me, man. If what you do well is rush the passer, go rush the passer. Don't drop him into coverage. I hate that. But we didn't see it a ton, but we saw it.
All right, so this is a weak Notre Dame receiving corps.
Yeah.
We're going to play Missouri.
Mm-hmm.
We know who they have.
Oh, yeah.
Texas is going to throw the ball around.
Yeah.
LSU is going to throw the ball around.
Yeah.
What are you seeing right now? Were we challenged enough in the secondary? Are you feeling confident right now or not?
You know what? I thought they played well, but I also thought that there was a lot of times when they were a little too soft. Why were they playing? They played so much better when they were up in it.
Why would you play soft on a secondary that's weak?
Yeah.
Or a receiving core that's weak. Why don't you play up on them and then go attack that quarterback?
They had their tight end matched up on one of the corners on the outside.
And you're playing.
And, it's third down or whatever it is, and they're giving him a 15 yards cushion, and it's like, what is that tight end running by one of your cornerbacks?
Dude, what if Lee intercepts that pass?
That's a game changer.
Oh,
That's a game changer.
I mean, what did he come across?
That was a game changer.
Damn.
It looked good.
Oh,
Well,
God.
I thought it was coming.
I thought it was a house call.
Yeah. No, I thought he played well too.
I thought he did all right. I mean,
Look.
Chappelle, I thought he did all right. He had a pass interference call,
Yeah.
but it is what it is.
Yeah, if he gets his head around, he probably gets a chance to intercept that ball.
Yeah, and that's the problem. A lot of our guys weren't looking for the ball. It seems like when it was out, we just can't get turnovers. I mean, the ball
We've had this
did
problem.
Notre Dame fumble at all?
Elko's defenses here didn't get a lot of turnovers.
Well,
They never did.
and he said in his press conference, we lost a turnover battle. I was like, well, you're going to lose it every week if you don't get any.
Yeah, if you don't get any, you're going to lose it every week.
Yeah.
No, there has to be more of that. And you're right. I feel good enough about our corners and the guys that we have out there in coverage that you can leave them on an island from time to time, right? Let them just man up, get up in their face, and go play, right?
Yeah.
Because there's enough talent there, and then you still and you have Anderson in the back, that's able to cover some ground back there and help you out. So you got to do some different things with that coverage, and they're playing way too soft at times. I think given mediocre Notre Dame receiving core a little bit too much credit.
If we played Notre Dame 9 more times, how many times would we beat them? You think? If we change, I mean, not the same game plan, but I'm saying talent wise, I don't think they were.
Yeah, I think it's 50-50.
Yeah,
I think that game goes either way. We play 10 more times, it's going to be 5-5.
Leonard outplayed Connor.
Yeah.
Their O-line, our O-line, I'd say it's almost a wash. The tight ends outplayed our tight ends. Their receivers, I think, outplayed our receivers.
Yeah, all the talk about their O-line played pretty darn good, I thought.
Yeah, they did fine.
With 6 returning or total starts between them or whatever, they played pretty good.
But their secondary outplayed our secondary. Their game plan was better. They said, hey, we're going to man up. And Elko even said that in the press conference. They played man the whole game.
Yeah.
And what'd you do about it?
And nothing. Nothing.
Absolutely. Because they had 7 men in the box the whole game. All right. You got to make adjustments, right? What do you do? Do you play action on that?
All right. So,
why can't you do play action on that?
All right. So, you play action, slows down the rush, gives you time to get the guy down the field, and you got a one-on-one matchup.
You said you saw play action how many times?
Didn't see it. So, all right. And I guess here's and this to me is sort of the good side of this game is that I think we probably played as bad as we possibly could offensively. I think we're not going to see a game like this out of Connor all year again.
God, I hope not.
And you know what? They were in position to win a game against the top 10 team. So it's not the end of the world, right? Let's not put our hands up and say, well, crap, here goes the season.
Well, I mean, if you see Connor play like that, first game of the season, yes, this is against Notre Dame. My thoughts are, oh, shit. Is this what we're in for all year?
Yeah,
and there's something wrong. Why is he throwing the ball off of 1 foot, falling away to his left, and throws a pick?
Well, that's the downside to playing a big-time ball game in week 1, right? Because your dreams can be broken, torn into pieces from the first week of the season. You didn't get those 3 cupcakes that you could go out there and be happy about.
Write it down right now. Notre Dame's in the playoffs.
Yeah.
I mean,
they're in the playoffs.
We looked at their schedule.
They're in the playoffs.
That's a given. They might have 1 loss on there. I don't even know if it's a loss.
All right. So, who's your offensive player of the game?
I thought Walker did pretty good. Moss had a good game, but I'd say the offensive line right now. I was impressed with the offensive. If you would have told me the offensive line played like that, I'd say we'd win the game. I thought they played pretty well. Yeah, they gave up a little bit of pressure here and there. They missed some blocks.
Yeah,
overall, compared to what I've seen the last 2 years, compared to this year, O-line.
Yeah, I think it was Moss, but yeah, O-line. You could give it to the O-line.
I give it to O-line, and then Moss and Walker. Definitely not Connor.
Connor might have been their offensive player of the game.
I'll tell you who wasn't the offensive player of the game was Calvin Klein. Whatever our offensive coordinator is.
Colin Klein?
Whatever. Calvin. I like Calvin.
Yeah, he didn't. He also was not the offensive player of the game. One, he's not a player, but yeah. I mean, he didn't call a great game.
No, I mean that's what I'm saying.
And like I said,
Now was he calling his game? Is that what you think? I mean, you watch him coach Kent State, Kansas State, whatever. He
I think that there was a clear directive here for sure. There was a game plan, and it was
no,
the one thing that you look, we've complained about the fact in the past that Jimbo's game plan defensively and offensively did not mesh, right?
right.
And so at least this is a team that is in sync, right? They knew what they wanted to do with their defense and offense and mesh those two things together, right? They wanted this to be a low scoring game that they had a chance to win at the end.
What would you do different, knowing now for the next game? Say we play Notre Dame next week. What would you do different? Would you give Bussy the ball?
Yeah. Bussy would definitely touch the ball. But not only that, we've said it 17 times, right? More play action,
Okay.
right? More downhill play action, maybe out of the pistol, right? Where he's behind the quarterback, so you can get a real good fake out of it. But yeah, I would run the ball between the tackles more. I would.
Yeah.
I'd
like to see that Notre Dame depth. I wanted to go after him a little bit more. But we
Yeah.
only run 50 or 60 plays on offense.
Yeah, you didn't test their conditioning, right?
Yeah, not at all. And that's what part of the talk was Notre Dame coming down here to this environment with
Into the
weather.
heat.
Yeah. And
it ended up getting pretty hot.
Oh yeah. I mean, we saw guys cramping up
Yeah.
on our side.
Yeah. So defensive player of the game.
Man, I thought Lee did really well at corner. He would have made that pick, he'd be my choice, but probably Sporting. Because he was just all over the place.
I think it's Scorton. I was really impressed, man. I mean, and I had high expectations for the dude, but his motor blows me away.
I'm trying to think who is not going to be defensive player of the game. Like who had a terrible game?
Des Ricks,
Regis. I'll be honest. I thought York probably played one of his worst games, being out of position so many times.
Yeah.
I mean, he had 9 tackles, but
he also missed a couple of key ones.
Well, when the hole's that big, he needs to read it and plug it. He's not plugging it.
And way too much movement inside with the defensive tackles just got out absolutely, they cratered,
And a lot of the no-name guys.
And some of that's because of the fact that they slant so much, right? They slant that defensive line so much that it creates those big gaps.
I'll tell you something, Scooby, he's athletic.
He is.
And that other kid that
Sanford,
Bowling Green, he's big and long.
How? Yeah. I thought he had some good plays.
Yeah. But just again this year, going into back to last year, there's players that we talked about that we don't see on the field.
Something you just said, I do think once again that second linebacker position was a weak point yesterday. Reading, you could see, I mean, he was like standing in cement for it'd take him 10 seconds to diagnose a play,
Well, when they told him to go get him, we get in the backfield. When they would sit back and try to read something, that's when it goes to shit.
Yeah.
So do we be more aggressive all the time?
I mean, you know what I say? Do what they're good at.
We're not doing that. We've done that for years where people just, okay, we're going to turn this linebacker into something he's not, or this defensive end into something he's not.
Yeah. It's a little bit of paralysis by analysis, right? Like maybe they've got too much. And so it slows their reads down. But they've got to do something to fix that because
who's calling the plays on defense?
It's Bateman.
Okay,
Bateman's calling it, but Elko's got to say in it. But Bateman's calling it.
Well,
all right. So, questions from the tailgate. After this performance, what's the record for this Texas A&M team?
God, I don't know, man. I got to see these other teams play again. I got to see Missouri, LSU.
Yeah, those guys haven't played anybody. Well, LSU plays tonight. USC tonight.
I mean, we're going to beat the Bowling Greens, the McNeeses, the Floridas. We should beat.
Listen, here's the thing.
Mississippi
And
State, we should be.
I've said it 1,000 times. The game of the year is the game is that you need to watch is the Florida game. I said it before the season, right?
Yeah.
Because if you lose that game on the road, I don't care that it's on the road. If you lose that game, we got a bigger problem than we think. Florida is horrible. Miami just abused those guys. They benched their quarterback in the first game,
Yeah.
and they weren't doing anything offensively or defensively.
True.
That team is bad. Billy Napier's gonna get fired this year.
Yeah.
There's no question. If
You're
you're
back
his
at Lot
if you're his
Decker.
one SEC win, we got a problem.
Yep.
And South Carolina's horrible. And everybody's like, "Oh, going to South Carolina,
Yep.
Columbia is a big thing." No. Don't give me that. They almost just lost to who was it? Elon?
Yeah.
That's a joke.
Yeah, it wasn't good.
So I guess all that to say is you're gonna find out week 3. And you got to come out between now and then and fix the issues that we had here. Game 1. Look, it's game 1, right? Game 1, but it's done.
One more question: which team impressed you the most this weekend, opening weekend?
Probably Georgia.
Georgia. What about Miami?
Yeah, I think Miami just caught a very bad Florida team. I'm not sure that I still
Yeah.
believe in Miami. I will say this: I do believe in Cam Ward, though,
You think he's that good?
dude, because that's an offensive coordinator over there that made Van Dyke look horrible, right? Like they
Right.
benched him 2 years in a row after being a superstar.
Where's Van Dyke at now? Wisconsin.
Wisconsin, I think.
I saw that.
And this guy's made that offense look good. Cam Ward definitely did impress me. All right, fellas. Well, we'll see you again this week with a little preview of McNeese. Here you go. And don't fall off the wagon, man. It's all right.